First of all, congratulations on Will I See You Again. I saw it last night. It is quite the watch. I didn't expect it to be the way it went. How do you begin to create this script because it is intense. It is surprising. There's so many elements that are going on. It's just very complex. So how do you begin to make this?
Yeah, I think art definitely imitates life in some form, and I was really inspired by just my own personal experiences with love and loss. Yeah, I took some inspiration from, my husband's experiences with different things in his lifetime, and then friends and family. So a multitude of things that I tied together to come up with this story. And when I originally wrote it, I wrote it as a story, and I presented it to my husband. He was, "Oh my gosh, like." This is amazing. You should write it, try to write this as a script. And so I took a first stab at it, and then we partnered together on further drafts
Yeah.
to just really polish up the story and the script as a whole to make it more appropriate for filming, for
Mhm.
as a short film. I mean, so it was easy in the sense of being able to pull from inspirations and different experiences, but as a whole, I love that we were able to also dive into our imagination and incorporate different things that aren't from our reality to help tell a very well-rounded story.
I'll talk a little bit about the casting because I think you need the perfect cast for this, and I think
Oh yeah.
characters really came together well in order to make us feel like this is a believable story. So how was the casting process, and how happy are you with the cast that you got?
I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better cast and casting process. It all began with finding two additional producers to come on who could help execute this creative vision that my husband and I had. So we brought on Valeria Lopez and Alex Coffey, and one of their colleagues, Tina Becker. She's a phenomenal casting director. She read the script and believed in it and decided to come aboard. And
Yeah.
so in that process, she was able to secure this well-rounded cast. And I mean, she sets the standards very high, and she's brilliant at what she does. And so she was able to pull together through, her experience, and got a couple decades now she's been doing this, and she's just got a very good eye when she reads a script for what my vision was as a director. And yeah, we were very fortunate when we began casting. We did have two cast members already committed.
Yeah.
Rosanny Zayas is a good friend of mine. We worked together on the L Word Generation Q on Showtime. So we had known each other for a few years. And so I sent her the script. She was like, "I love it. Let's do it."
She plays Jessica.
She's the polygraph interpreter who sits behind Nick Wexler's character. And then we had Richard Lawson, who's a friend of my husband's. And yeah, those were two people in our circle already. So Tinica came in and finished everything that we needed in terms of securing this cast that it required a broad range in terms of emotional range. And we're just very grateful for her, for our producers, for securing her, because it was a secure thing for me to have a talented cast, and the people having all the duties like cinematography or production design. Everyone came from like a very a
Rich
very
background.
rich background
Yeah.
with a lot of experience. So that helped me in the
Yeah.
process.
And the story, I was expecting it to start off a lot slower than it did, but right off the bat, you get into these really hard questions. Why not start it off and ease people into it before getting into the tougher part of it?
Well, with short form filmmaking, you have to be very crucial about every single element of the story, of the script, and of the film. And this film is only 24 minutes long, and that's with credits. When I wrote it, I wanted to be very intentional that everything had to have intent. Everything had to have purpose to help push the narrative further and further ahead. And so I felt like opening up on the church scene, and with that first opening line, I wanted to be jarring. We both wanted to. We both wanted to feel jarring and catch people's attention because the complexities that Max has, he's living this dual life where he has an expectation and a responsibility as a community leader and as a pastor, as a figure that's held up to high regard, but then also battling his own internal truths that don't necessarily align to that based on cultural expectations and religion expectations. And so we really wanted to hit that as fast as we could to get the story going, to get people questioning, well, what's going on here? I can see that there's something happening. I can see there's tension. I can feel it. Where is it coming from? And that's how we go on the journey.
And directing, you match that intensity with the way the camera movement goes. It goes closer and closer and closer, and it brings us very intimately into this. How do you prepare to do that with a script like this?
Well, my cinematographer is a dear friend of mine. We worked together on a number of shows. I've worked with her as a DIT, supporting her on different shows for Showtime and Amazon. And so we work together very well already. So we understand the language and just between each other and then the visual language. And so I had already had a kind of a plan of my own, but Sandra Valde Hansen, my cinematographer, she's brilliant. And so she had an idea of every time we move in closer, we will open up our iris and expose correctly. And what that will do is it'll minimize the depth of field. So in the earlier questions of the polygraph, we start with a wider depth of field. And as we get more intense, it becomes shallower and everything kind of feels more compressed. And you start getting the squirrely background bokeh, as people would describe in their images and whatnot. And so that kind of subconsciously affects the viewer, and it brings us closer to that intimate moment that they have as we get to the end of the movie.
Definitely. And the vulnerability for these actors, they must have been so vulnerable during this time because there's so much going on, and it's highly emotional.
Yeah.
What kind of conversations do you have with actors in order to, make them feel safe, make them feel comfortable in order to get into that headspace?
Well, I mean, Hosea and Nick, who play Max and Paul, and Naomi as well. I speak for the entire cast when they're all very seasoned. And so they got the material and they were able to break it down just on their own. So I had discussions and meetings with all the actors prior to filming. And then we had a rehearsal day.
Yeah.
So we had the time and the space to figure out why the characters felt the way they did. My husband wrote a lengthy background and a foundational story for each character, where they came from, where they grew up, what their childhood was like. So we had all this intentional detail to give the artist, and letting them soar and do it is the best thing that I felt I could do once I had what I needed. Most of the time we did one or two takes in terms of, hey, I feel like it should be like this because of this in this part of the story. Then we move forward here. And then by the third take, I would just tell them, just take it away. You do you, and get messy with it.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of the magic happens.
Definitely. And now you guys are bringing this to HollyShorts, which is a very prestigious film festival for short films here in Hollywood. How does that feel for you?
Oh, it feels amazing. So we're world premiering tomorrow, August 9th, 2024 at 5 p.m. at the TCL Chinese Theater 6. So it's a blessing. You know, we're very grateful that we're getting the positive reception from industry people that see value in this story that was really birthed from love and from us taking a step out together as filmmakers. We're a married couple, but this was our first venture working in a creative space. And it's just been very fruitful, and we're just very appreciative to have the opportunity to showcase at HollyShorts.
Well, this was a fantastic short. It is incredible, I think. Even though it's an LGBTQ film, it could be any couple up there and still have the same impact. So congratulations on this, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Jesus. We appreciate you for giving us an opportunity to speak on your platform, and we wish you a great day.